Thursday, people. Happy Thursday. We are back. I didn't expect that we would be back today, but we're back today. We're back today for two very good reasons. The first is we have Cam, who is about to join us in around 7 minutes. He said he's going to join in about 7 minutes. He's getting himself together. But my co-host and I have some tea to spill with you, and we're not going to get into it right now. But let me bring Mo on. Scorpio Moe.
What's that?
Man, I did not expect us to be back to back, but we're here. We're back to back.
Yeah, it's been an interesting 24 hours.
Interesting 24 hours. What's up, Keisha and Love? What's up, Monique? I promise you guys, this is going to be an interesting night. We're going to do something that we don't often do here, which is spill a little tea. But that's going to come later. You got to stay tuned for that. We're getting ready to talk to Cam. And so I would love to hear what questions you guys have for Cam. What questions do you have for Cam, Mo, after watching this season?
I mean, to be honest with you, Cam cleared up at the reunion. I got the total vibe. At least that's what I thought I did. I'm going to say, I would say speak up, but what could he have said other than being disrespectful than what he said?
Well, this is my perspective of Cam this entire time. I think he genuinely does like Zadia. I think that it just wasn't like, I'm going to let you manipulate and force me into a relationship. Not talking about Zadia, but even talking more about production. So I feel like that was the situation that he did not want to be. He was not going to let them manipulate and push him into saying something that he wasn't ready to really do, which I can only respect.
Okay. I didn't look at it like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that, because, and I respect that, because I feel like for a lot of people, as we've talked, we had Donald and Mizell on yesterday. We've learned, through every guy that's come on the show has said that they really did not expect to be with only 4 women. They expected to be with more. So I think, considering that, I definitely think he was that production was kind of pushing them. So tonight we have Cam, but I promise you, we have some information that we want to share.
Yeah.
That is, as soon as we talk to Cam, then we need to talk to y'all. We need to talk to y'all.
Get ready, y'all. Get ready.
We need to talk to y'all. We got some I will just say this. I will say this to kind of tease it. And I'm not going to give too much. We need to get the likes up and we need to get Cam in the room, but I'm going to say that I got some information about one of our guests that misrepresented themselves. And
you put that.
That's what we want to get to the bottom of, and we want to share the information.
We have receipts.
We have receipts. We have receipts. And Melanie says, I'd like to hear Mo ask some questions tonight. Trust me, Mo is going to get a chance to
y'all gonna get a lot of me to we'll talk. We'll talk.
It's settle in. Buckle up, Buttercup. Buckle up.
But first up is Cam, and I like Cam. Like, Cam didn't do anything to rub me. A lot of it was timing. Obviously, that's what it felt like. Mizell and Donald said that, and I believe that to be true, because I do think he liked it. I really do. I don't think he was going to DC, but yeah, I think.
Not me as ministry said, we know who it is, Christal. Okay, you tell me, girl. Y'all tell me. Mia, you tell me who it is. Since you know who it is, y'all tell me. Trust me, the tea is coming, but we come on, patience.
Yeah. Get them likes up too, please.
I think everybody. I think that Cam came out, but I will say this. Let me ask you this, because with that scene where he gave Zadia the what I call the parting gift. How did you feel about that? A lot of people on Instagram felt like that was a problem. I wasn't mad about it. What did you think?
I mean, he took it for, I think he would have gave it to her either way. I don't think it was a parting gift. My thing was the wrap it up. Yo, that's what it felt like. Okay, he's done.
Yeah, to wrap it up.
Saw the real camera in that time.
Well, I think that again, I think that was because of production. I think he was getting irritated with the fact, because remember, they edit, right? They edit and piece things together. So we don't know when he said that. We don't know what led up to him saying wrap it up.
So let me ask you this. It's obviously, how far in between the end of the show and the reunion what is the gap?
Well, it depends on each show. With this show, I feel like it was around a month, because it was, some shows is a couple of months, some is closer, but they filmed this summer, and the reunion, I believe, was filmed in August. So, and I want you guys to remember that. Remember August.
Oh,
later on.
Good point.
Yeah, for later on. Tamasha, what's up, girl? She says, I think Cam operates under the nice guy, where it's hard to see his ways because he's charming.
Well, he spoke. He said what he said. What else was he supposed to say? If you still like her, but your time thing, what are you to say? You're stuck in the middle somewhere. What are you to say?
Yeah. I mean,
you don't want to stop seeing her, but you got to go to work.
I don't think he was. But I also do think it's up to the woman, and we've said this a bunch. It's up to the woman to decide if what he's giving you is enough.
What
right?
about for him?
You said what?
What is it? Okay, and that's fair, but it should be a balanced thing. What's about what's enough for him? What's needed for him as well?
Well, but I'm saying that's true. Both sides have to decide what works for them. But if he's saying this is all I can give you,
right,
and then the woman has at that point the ball's in your court. Either I accept that, or I keep it moving, or I say I'm not willing to. So
he picks the man. I mean, okay, I got you.
It just depends. All right. So without further ado, we're gonna bring the man of the hour up. Welcome, Cam, to the show.
What's up, guys? How y'all doing?
We're good. This is my co-host Mo. I thought you had your sound effects ready to go, Mo.
You ain't hear the clapping?
That's fire.
Cam, we have been waiting to talk to you. We know you had some other interviews. I purposely did not listen because I wanted to just hear you tonight. I wanted to just hear what you have to say. I wanted to give you an opportunity to talk. And for Mo, I mean, we really were all season long. I don't see where you did anything that was out of pocket. Like, we were fans, felt like you were doing, holding it down, doing your thing, you're being honest. Right?
Thank you. Yeah. It's funny because just you saying that means I did something wrong. So
what do you mean by that?
Well, you said you didn't think I did anything out. So I want to take accountability. I feel like, it was a very tough time in my life. I'll say that. Top 3 toughest experiences in my whole life. It was very tough.
Wow.
I learned so much, and I'm so grateful that I went through the experience because, there's some things I learned about myself that I don't think I ever would have learned,
Wow.
So
like,
well, let's start in the beginning. What attracted you to the show? Because knowing that you are, I always say this, and I think you may be one of the only people that have proven this wrong. I always say that I'm suspect of guys that sign up for reality shows, right? Because typically, number one, men that are, on their way in life, they usually are busy, right? And they're usually not really fans of reality TV. And they usually are not necessarily looking for love on TV, right?
Yeah.
So usually what we get is a lot of guys that really are not what they say they are.
Right.
So I'm wondering what would attract you to a reality show?
I think it was just the timing and, the universe saying I needed to make a change. I had been dating, just kind of freely, very casually, different women, just being honest about I was just dating, but spreading my energy thin. And I thought that I was, I wanted to manifest one woman to be in my life and to share things with and to build with. And yeah, the the opportunity for the show, an agent from VH1 from like 10 years ago, she had reached out to me back then. But I kept saying no, no, no to a lot of different things. But because I had been so powerfully trying to manifest a woman, for her to come at me, in that moment, in that time, I was like, man, this may be a sign. Maybe I need to try this and I'll find somebody, and it'll give me a reason to clear the deck completely and just focus on one person. I just thought it was, it was going to be something, it was going to be a good opportunity for me in that way. I really wanted to find somebody. And yeah, that's why, I had a lot of ducks in a row. At the time I was juggling a lot of things, but I felt like I was able to handle that, and everything was running smooth. Everything was running smooth, and then it shifted while I was on the show, and I did not know the full extent of the demands that I would need to be meeting to, basically be on the show. So I just didn't understand the level that it was going to take to be on the show, but I was really wanting to build with someone, and so yeah, that's why.
Okay. I want to delve into that. And then, cause I it's interesting to hear a guy. How old are you?
I'm 37 now. When, during the show, I was 36.
Okay. So for you to be that age, that's the age where, if you've been out there and you've been lucky enough to have a lot of experiences with women, that seems to be an age where some guys are like, okay, I actually realize the importance or the value of having the right one as opposed to a lot. So, what did you kind of do to prepare? Because Aza C said he dropped his roster for the show. It sounded like you had a lineup, and you said, let me dwindle this down and get ready to see if I can find the one.
Good question. Yeah, I actually dwindled the lineup before I even got the call. Nice. So the lineup was done over a month before Emily from the VH1, the agent. She called me and was like, "Hey, Cam, are you still single?" And I'm like, yeah, I actually am super single right now. Like, I have nobody here. I'm just, I'm working. I thought I made a space for someone. Okay. And, that's why, yeah, I thought I made a space.
That's scheduling for you. How difficult was that for you between shooting hours?
Yeah, it was crazy because at the time I had, 2 jobs. I had a pharmacy job where I worked by myself in the pharmacy. So I was basically running the pharmacy, doing the cashier, the accountant, the insurance calls, the doctor calls. I was doing that all by myself from like 9 to 2, and then 2:30 to 9. I was doing a work from home pharmacy job. So it's like Tinder for prescriptions. It's good, swipe right. If it's bad, swipe left. Gotcha. And pretty cush job, pretty cool job. So as soon as the show started, I asked them how was it going to work with my schedule. And they said they were going to work with it. It's not something where you're going to be at the house all night and stuff like that. They said it was a Ready to Love All-Stars. So I don't really watch a lot of reality TV, but I was just like, oh, okay, it seems like it'll work. They said they'll work with the schedule, there'll be dates and stuff like that. But I quit one of the jobs. So the one where I worked in the pharmacy, like I said, that was super, super draining. Imagine like a lot of patients coming at you and having to call doctors and insurances. I was like, I kind of wanted to move away from that anyway. Okay. So I moved away from that, and yeah, it was tough with the 2:30 to 9 because a lot of the mixers were like at 7. Mm-hmm. So I would take a lot of half days and just take a lot of time off from work to try to make this work. And production was kind of really tough on me about the birthday party and things like that. I asked them to make it a certain time and they wouldn't. And it's just like, well, y'all got me into this now, and y'all just kind of, I don't want to lose this opportunity with my business, but I still want to show up for what I got going here. Mm-hmm. So that was one aspect of it. And then I have another business where my best hitter, my best person, I lost him. And so I was busy trying to train somebody else to fulfill that huge role. And we had a, Essence Fest coming. It was, this period was only a month. This is from the first day I was on the show was June 3rd. And the last day, not including the reunion, was July 2nd. Wow. So Essence is, basically the end of, and I thought we had it covered. So me saying yes to the show is like, we got this covered. It's all going to be good. But my hitter left. I had to teach somebody. During Essence, we had like 25 activations in 4 days. And it's like we were all hands on deck. So that's what you see. You see the stress that I'm going through. And a lot of what drew me to Zadi, I know I'm going kind of deep, but was that she really was encouraging, off screen or the times that they don't show, but she was so encouraging and helpful in those times. And that was something that really drew me to her. And I still appreciate her to this day because of that.
Nice. Let me ask you this, Cam, because you sound extremely ambitious, and that's also a breath of fresh air, because I don't think we always get men that really are ambitious. A lot of times we get men that the show is the thing that they're trying to do. They're trying to segue into being an actor or doing something else. Right. So you seem to be very, very ambitious. What was important to you coming on a reality show, being open for love? What was important to you in a woman? Knowing that you are, someone who's extremely ambitious, what qualities, what were you looking for? Even before you got to set and met the women, what did you know was important to you in a woman?
Well, before the show, I really wanted someone to help me through those tough times. Somebody to be understanding, somebody to be fun. I don't want to, when I come home from work or whatever, I don't want to, it to be like any weird energy or something. So I just wanted a very open, like a friend, but a lover, and just like someone to share all this stuff with. I have a lot of things going on. And so to be able to share these ideas and it not be boring, I can be very long-winded and get passionate about, finance and work and stuff like that. But, somebody to kind of bring me back, during the show and things like that. What I realized is like, I really would love somebody who is very nurturing, loves to take care of the home and cook and clean and just be a rock for the home. So, hopefully I answered that question.
Interesting. Did you see that in Zadia?
I saw the understanding that I was looking for and the support, in verbal communication. I don't think we got deep enough to get to the nurturing side of it. And so, and she was down here with a purpose to date. And I would say no fault to her, but kind of in a vacation mode. So when we did hang out, it would just be like, okay, we'll kind of recharge and stuff like that. It wasn't like we are, building something. It wasn't, we don't wake up and like cook and, it wasn't like that. And I think, that was something that could come later down the line, but it's so hard to foster that long distance. The level that I was looking for. And, coming in, I didn't know that it was going to be long distance. Nobody really said that. Right. So, would that have been a deal breaker? If they interviewed me and said that, I probably been like, yeah, that's kind of a deal breaker. But Zadi was so understanding and just really amazing towards me. I try to make it work as best as possible.
So we know that you guys didn't know that the ladies were not going to be from New Orleans. I mean, that throws a huge kink into the plan. Yeah. But did you know that there was going to be one woman that could choose you and you wouldn't have a choice?
No, I didn't know the format whatsoever. Especially, I think the guys who were in the 25, the very first episode, they had a better understanding of the rules and what was the premise of the show. Me, I came in with 3 other guys and they just walked us into a room, told us how to dress and then put us on display for the 4 girls. So it was 4 guys, 4 girls. We were matched up and it's like, hey, find love, make love happen. It's just like, Okay. Like we try our best, but I just, like I said, I have to give hats off and love to Zadia because, I wouldn't have never have stuck in there that long without somebody being like how she is.
Mm-hmm. Now you also went out with, was it Sharice or Vernisha?
I didn't go out with anybody else.
You didn't go out with anybody else. I thought you went out with one other person. Okay.
No, they asked me about that. Me and Sharice did sit down for a good long talk during a mixer. We had a great conversation. I think she even says that on the second episode or something like that. But there was no real sparks with anybody else. I really was into Zadia as far as her mindset and things. Everybody else had just other things going on. I felt they were like homegirls, cousins, auntie, other entrepreneur vibes. Like we could connect, but not on that deeper level of like just understanding and romance that I was trying to get to.
Okay.
Definitely connected. Y'all talked to like 6 a.m, right?
Yeah. I mean, we had a lot. We could talk forever. I mean, just I'll say a week or two ago, we were on the phone for 3 hours, and we talk at night a lot. So like literally we're talking till 4 a.m. It feels like kind of like when I talk to my mom, like me and my mom, which is ridiculous. Like we talk for hours and hours and hours. Maybe, I'm long-winded, but my mom, she can talk for sure.
So, I wish my son would talk to me for hours. My son is like, okay, how you doing? You good? Okay. All right, Mom,
Yeah.
So let's talk about that first time that when Zadia picked you and you guys connected. What did it feel like? It felt like some of the dates were a little bit especially with Zadia, it didn't seem like she really connected with anybody but you on, when she went out on the dates.
Yeah.
What was that first date like? Because obviously it came up that you guys, did end up talking and spending the night together. But tell us about that first date and what did you take away from it in regards to Zadia?
Well, the first date, like I just cleared this up. Me and Zadia had met like a long time ago. Like just I was doing some work and she was in a group of girls at some deltas and I was doing a photo shoot. So 5 years before we had met. We didn't really talk or anything like that. So we didn't know each other. But there's some familiarity there. And so we were literally just joking and having fun and just trying to get to know each other and finding out that we had so many connections, like going to U of H at the same time, but never met each other. We both spent time in Atlanta, but never met each other. And it was just so many things that we had in common. I remember very distinctly that we were just having such a good conversation and production would need to take little breaks to do certain things. And we would just kept going, kept rolling. And they would be like, stop, we need it for the cameras. And I'm like, we just not running out of stuff to talk about. And so I just really ignored a lot of what they were talking about. And we just kept talking. And that's kind of, I feel like why we had such a deep connection. Cause man, we could just really have interesting conversations. She says money is her love language. I think I get caught up so much in my passion for finances and things. So having somebody who doesn't get bored when you talk about those things is important for me. And so
is she physically your type? Were you attracted to her physically as well?
I think she's a gorgeous woman. I don't really have a specific type. I see so many beautiful people like New Orleans, tourists, all this type of stuff. With what I do, I see so many beautiful people. So I think she's gorgeous. I think I was attracted to her. Absolutely. But I think her mindset is really what turned me on to her and just made me want to open up even more and see like where we could go versus anything.
Okay. I know one of the questions I have for you, because obviously we're going to talk about the fact that you guys kept having what felt like the same conversation over and over again. But I'm wondering, like, when she mentioned that the episode where you guys were talking about the distance, right? And she said that New Orleans didn't like her. She didn't really get along with New Orleans. She didn't really have a desire to move there. She didn't like the weather. And then she mentioned you potentially coming to DC, and you were just like, I don't have any intentions of that. What were your thoughts of her saying that? Because it almost was like, the title of the show was Ready to Love, Make a Move for the women. It was suggested for the women, but Zadia immediately was like, well, why don't you come? And then when you said, no, I don't think so, she said, well, you shouldn't say that without at least coming to see it. So what were your thoughts with that conversation?
Oh, man. I just don't want to go north. I just don't want to go north. I lived in Omaha, Nebraska, you know, when I was growing up, shoveling snow, scraping ice.
No, that's right.
Man, where are y'all located?
Well, we're in Atlanta now, but I'm originally from Ohio and he's from Connecticut, so we don't want to go north either.
Yeah, my pop spent time in Connecticut, so I've been up there. I just don't. I'm good on it. And so from day one, production, everybody was asking me about DC, and I always was a hard no. And everybody's like, consider it. And that was very frustrating. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, there's no way, guys. Like Camille, everybody, like just was trying to get me to do that. And I'm like I have so many ties and love for the South. It's just, I just do not see it ever. And so that was tough. As far as her coming to New Orleans, I understand that. Like the whole time we were on the show, it's like 106 degrees, it feels like, and it's just muggy and nasty. And, you know, what keeps me here is really my connections and the businesses that I'm doing. So, you know, I did see that we had a disconnect there. But for just the sake of being open, I wanted to try to see if we could come to some kind of terms. I wanted to talk about Atlanta because I have so much family in Atlanta that it would make sense. And she has ties and family in Atlanta as well. So I was like, maybe, you know, we can link up there a few times and see where that is. But yeah, that was a frustrating aspect because I did not know that it was a long distance thing. And for them to drop me in a situation where it's, you know, that's what it's about. It's like, you know, guys, you know, what are we doing?
Yeah. And I think people are saying Maryland, that DC is not north, but I think he's talking about in terms of the weather and the vibe. And I think I would consider DC is definitely that tri-state area. It definitely is. It's not New Orleans.
Does it snow in DC?
Oh,
yes.
There's definitely snow in Maryland.
That's it. That's
you know? I knew exactly what you meant when you said I don't want to go because we all talk about that. It's like in Ohio, it does not. The sun doesn't really shine. And no disrespect, because I mean that's where I was born, but I realized that it's gray all the time. Like it doesn't.
Even the pace of the East Coast or the North is just different for me. Like I'm from Omaha, Nebraska. So dare I say I move at a mid pace, you know, I'm very ambitious and things like that. And so it works well where in a place in the South where it's a little bit slower, you know, my mid pace is fast compared to them, you know, and so I can get a little ahead of the competition and all that. But up north, I just feel like I'd be drowning and freezing. So,
so let's talk about that contention point in your head. And we talked to Donald last night, Donald and Mizell, and both of them kind of suggested that after a certain point, they realized that it wasn't really like going to be a love connection, right? Donald was like, you know, they went through, I guess, the situation, and he realized that this was not going to work for him. Obviously, you're a thinker. We can tell that from just talking to you for a few minutes. So in your head, what are you thinking about the relationship with Zadia? Because when you guys get to those conversations where it becomes, is she going to keep you around or not? It always comes down to what is this going to look like? So what's going on in your head every time you guys sit down on that couch and you get ready to have this conversation about, is she going to keep you around or not?
Yeah. I really like Zadia and I was enjoying her so much. And so I was grateful when she kept me around, just to see continuously like where it's going to go. But I did see, as I verbalized, that there would be some difficulty, just because I know how I am with communication, long distance and stuff like that. So I was trying to be just upfront with her about that so that she could go through the process. Um, just knowing that that was a real thing. So I wanted her to be open to other people, not to push her away from myself, but just to make sure that she was in the right spot. And so what she's continuously said is that, she didn't connect with any other guys. And so she wanted to keep enjoying her time with me and enjoying what we were doing because, the show, we'll sit there hour, 2 hours and they play 3 lines. But outside the show, and outside those conversations where it got tough and they're trying to push the storyline, we had good conversation, nice light banner, like fun laughing. A lot of the mixers, we're just huddled off in the corner, just talking to each other and kind of, observing everybody else and making jokes. And it was a lot of fun. I really stayed around because it was a lot of fun being with that girl. But I just wanted her to really realize that, shoot, man, if somebody is like, move down here, I'm gonna move to DC and I'm gonna do this. Like that person may be more ready for you than I am. And I was just figuring out how ready I was. I thought I was ready to love when I was coming on to the show, but really I understood that what it was is I wanted love. Like I wanted love. I wanted somebody to grow with and build with. And the process showed me like, you really got to get ready to love. And, I got doing the other interview and a lot of people say like, I'm avoiding and, all that kind of stuff. And I have to say that, I think I struggle with emotions and I'm talking about my real emotions. I retreat into work. I retreat into my purpose. And, it's something I just got to get better at. And being direct with myself and then being direct with other people. I feel like I'm being transparent, but it still doesn't leave us anywhere, as far as what are we doing together and what are we doing emotionally and how am I serving you emotionally? Like those questions and answers are just, I haven't spent a lot of time. I'm 37 now and I spent a lot of time focused on my career, a lot of time focused on business. And I think that muscle in my brain, that that empathy, that compassion, that heart is just something that I got a lot of work to do. Like even now, I feel like, I can love, but it's just, I gotta work on how that comes across and making room for people.
Let me ask you this. When was your last relationship? Because it doesn't sound strange because the older I get, I realize that men don't necessarily, it's almost like this is the time, the age that they kind of start realizing I do want that. But women, we are there early on. We're there in college, like, I'm in love and all this stuff. So have you had a relationship where you felt like you were really in love and you were that person, have you experienced that before?
Yes. Yeah. I love very deeply. I love very deeply. And I think that's why I shut it down and I shut it off. Because I had in my 20s, I had, 2 and 3 year relationships. And, those all went through like a little toxicity period in the last year. And I would say like I swore off relationships when I turned 30. Like I swore them off. And then I ended up being with, and I ended up in a few more relationships in, after saying like a year or two, I thought that was a lot of time because in my 20s, it would be like a month or two and I'd be in another relationship. And you can't do that. So in my 30s, I'm like, I'm not doing it. And then a year down the line, I end up getting in one and I really care for her so much. But getting to that emotional level where I talk about us more than I talk about goals was a problem. And that's why we didn't make it, and, and so I've dealt with that before, dealt with that multiple times. People I really do care about and love and express that I love them. Because even now I have a tough time saying I love you. I have a really tough time saying it because so much stuff has happened. So I'm a little calloused. I'll say that.
Mo, I'm gonna let you jump in.
Ooh, Ooh, nah, he said something. You said you cared more about the relationship than you cared about what were you saying, yourself or work, what you were trying to do, correct?
Well,
at points, like in certain relationships, and that's where you found yourself.
Well, I would in my 20s, I would bend a lot for women. I would just like, like, hey, I'm not. Yeah. I mean, I think Jabari had a great point, man. Like, as a man, when you find your purpose, you can't continue to like bend. You really have to find somebody who's aligned with what you're doing and is supportive. So I think I sacrificed a lot of time trying to fit into somebody's box when I needed to just know who I was and say, boom, no, and let it go Don't drag it out another year, and work on myself that year. Right. And then maybe, but I was just like, this chaos happened. It was toxic. And then after that's finally, we've shut off. We completely emotionless. Month or two, I meet somebody and, I'm hubby material, she wifey material. Let's make it work in another 2-3 years. And so, like I said, I turned 30 and I was done. I just was like, I'm grinding.
And me and Christal often talk about that. I bring that up a few times, that just for young people, men and women, I think your 20s are for you.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And I don't think we push that narrative enough.
Nope.
Your 20s are for you. It's cool to have, you go out and date and you kind of like figure things out. And it's hard enough to figure you out, let alone you and someone else.
That's deep.
So
yeah.
I commend you for saying that, because that's a real thing.
No, that's, man, you don't know who you are. And people tell you that in your 20s. Right. People tell you that. They told you that, right? You don't know who you are right now. When you get 40, you don't know.
But when you turn 21, you think you're grown and you got it all figured out.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah.
I also like that you said don't drag it out, because I think, and this is what I said, Cam, the entire time. I said, I feel like he is trying to be the good guy because he's a nice person. He doesn't want to hurt her, but he's also letting her know that he cannot give her what she wants, right? Or what maybe the production wants. Maybe not even her, maybe production. Yeah. And I feel like a lot of times, I've had, brothers and friends. A lot of times a guy, and even Mo, we were talking about, he told this girl, well, I'm just, not there right now. She was like, well, can you just think about it? Like, it seemed like you were trying. At the point when you said, if it's better for the situation right now, I'm okay. If you need to see other people, that was like, to me, a sign that you're really not ready for this. Like, I'm trying to release you back into the wild. But it felt like, and then I understand, because I've been in Zadia's place so much, and I think most women have. A lot of times a man will tell you, I'm not ready. And because you like him so much, or because the chemistry is so good, you don't turn it off. But I do think that a man has, I feel like men are the choosers, and they know when they're ready. A woman can be ready but sometimes I think I was ready early on. But I think sometimes a man has to say, you know what, this is just not the right thing. As the leader, just, this is not, because otherwise she'll keep dragging it on, and then you keep saying, okay. And it felt like every week you guys came back to the same situation. And even though you did like her, it's obvious you weren't ready for you weren't ready to be the keeper.
Yeah. In hindsight, I wish that when she asked me when I came over, like, so you're breaking up with me? Like, it was kind of a joking way, because we weren't in a relationship. It'd been less than a month. But I wish I had said, yeah, like, I think you need to do what you got to do. And I wish I said that, because we had built up such a good connection at that point that we weren't going to stop talking anyway. Mm-hmm. So production was really the drag for me, and me constantly talking about time and things like that was really against them. Yeah. Yes, Zadia wanted extra time outside of the show, and that's to be understandable, right? I mean, I want to be there for you here and there. I don't want to be there just on the show. Like, you know, I think a lot of guys got accused of that. And, you know, I wanted to be like, you know, if you're with me, this is what we'll be doing. We'll be having, you know, take you here. You and the girls want to go out. Let's do this. Like, I like doing those types of things as a man, as a provider, as a lover. So like, yeah, she could have still experienced those things, and really we could have worked on it, you know, on our own. But I in that moment, I was like, you know, I want to try for her. I want to try to continue to show up. And then also production said that they figure something out for me as far as my time. And they did, you know, but it was kind of late in the game. And, you know, like I said, I had those things going on with my business that were, you know, just really stressful. So, you know, it was a lot. Like I said, again, this was one of the hardest times in my life. You know, outside looking in, you know, you got all the answers. Everybody got the answers. But, you know, being in it in that time, I had no clue what I should really be doing. And, you know, I was there to find love. And so I wanted to continue working on that and pounding that in. But, you know, yeah, that was a tough spot.
Was the hardest thing about it that you didn't want to hurt her, or was the hardest thing about it that you were, that it was a challenge for you? Because when we hear you say that it was hard for you, I'm wondering, is that because you were, what was causing the internal struggle for you? What was the biggest part? Was it protecting her feelings? Was it the feeling of you wanting to really try to make this work? What was the pull and push?
Like I said, in the moment, I really enjoyed her. So it wasn't really about like her feelings, but I just wanted to be open that she can make a good decision based on, I saw it difficult when we were going to be apart. Like, we were really having a lot of good times, but I did see that I'm like, when you go back home, I just don't know how this continues. Because I mean, I signed up for this, but I didn't sign up for this specifically. And so I didn't want to shortchange her or myself in the fact that we were getting along so well and having so much fun, and being there for each other, you know. Like, I mean, people don't know, like, the birthday, like, we had been out 3 nights in a row with, you know, celebrating her birthday. You know, her birthday was before the actual birthday party, and we celebrated that multiple times. And we had her falling asleep in the club. She was so exhausted. Like, we had fun. But then when production and the process get involved, that's when it gets really murky. You know, everything else was really easy. So, you know, with me and her. Now, I was dealing with so much, you know, like bombs going off in the background with other things going on in my life. But I mean, I guess those things are going to happen, right? Like, you know, so I was trying to work through it and figure it out. You know, could I have been more level-headed in how I, you know, approached it, you know, being on TV? I don't know. I'll say this. I've never been on TV before. We have a 2-hour date, and that's what y'all got. Think about it. Like, it's tough. Like, you know, it looks like I'm not into her, but I was.
No, I didn't think that. I felt like you were into her. I feel like it just, you weren't ready for what the production was saying that this was supposed to be. And I feel like maybe, I don't know if she was, but I do feel like at the end, when she's saying, when you could tell that it's bothering her when you guys are having this conversation, it did feel like she wanted more from you. Could you tell that she was frustrated?
Yeah, in those moments, yeah, I definitely could tell that she was frustrated. But like I said, I have a tough time with my emotions and understanding emotions, and so I feel like I was cold. You know, in those moments, I just was like, well, here it is. I'm laying it on the table for you. Make a logical decision. But it's deeper than that. You know, we had feelings for each other. So I don't think she could make a logical decision in hindsight. But also, again, she said she didn't connect with any other guys.
She didn't
So
options, brother.
yeah, I mean, even look, watch outside looking in. I was like, and I called her when this happened, when the Richard date with the principal.
Yeah.
I was like, girl, you heard I was busy and go look around. Like he looked like y'all was having fun. Like it looked like that. And she said to me that it was boring, it was dry, it was what they did with the confessionals and stuff was they took something that she said about me and her on our date.
Oh
and
wow.
they put it on his date.
Oh,
and so and to make people feel like
balance,
he had a chance.
A little bit of balance there. Yikes.
But he got killed off screen, right? Like nobody knows even what happened to that. And that's because she, they want to build up suspense, Cam getting kicked off, but it was, we were already too deep as far as how we, felt for each other and like all the deep conversations that we had and the laughter. Like, you just can't replicate that. And then I have things going for me that, a lot of people, I don't, that sounds arrogant. I don't want to say that, but if you think about it, a principal, a teacher, they got the whole summer. They got the whole summer, man. They chilling. They chilling during the summer, so they're not worried about other things that are going on in their business relationship or their work life and things like that. Me, I have being a pharmacist and then owning 2 businesses is just like I had just a lot going on, and that wasn't gonna stop. Yeah. So anyway,
what did you think when Tamika said? Do you because I think a lot of times women try to translate men's thoughts or actions, and I think usually we're not right. My girlfriends and I would get together and be like, "Ooh, he likes you. He's just scared." Or he. So, what did you think when Tamika was like, "Well, are you falling in love and you're just afraid?"
Yeah, that when she kind of took me to the side, that was I was like, "What the heck is she saying?" Like, either I'm leading her on or I'm falling in love. I'm like, man, can I don't think it's I don't think it's either really. It's not that I'm leading her on because I do feel for her and I'm trying to get to know her and see if this can work. Falling in love, it's like extreme. It's like one or the other. And I'm like, I wouldn't say I'm falling in love, but I do like this girl and I'm trying to see if we have a match. And I think love comes when you've seen adversity with a person and y'all get through that together and you see them come out of adversity and you get happy about it and all that. So we just hadn't gotten to that point yet where I'm starting to fall in love, but I definitely liked her and I wanted to make room for her. And I did my best to. I literally not quit, but just I paused 2 jobs and tried to build my business up in a way that I could give her more time, give the process more time and not think about it. But it ends up coming up a lot and it cut out a lot of where I was telling her about the adjustments that I was making for her. But then again, that doesn't matter, man. That doesn't matter. It's like how you show up for people. Like what you do in the background. And that's something that I think I was immature about on the show was basically saying like, but I'm here, seeing that I'm like, you ain't gotta count the score, bro. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gotta say I did this. You gotta really just be there. And
if that's what you want to do, you still have this is the issue. And Mo, I want you to chime in on this one because I feel like you guys did have chemistry. You guys did like each other, but it's not just the process has to go according to what's comfortable for Zadia and also what's comfortable for you. So I think the fans want to see something happen quickly. And if they don't see that, then they can be very, then they're like, oh, he's playing. But it shouldn't go like, well, just hurry up, for somebody. I don't necessarily think we're like, wrong for saying, I don't think that. I don't think it came off like that to me. What do you think, Mo?
But what happens is if we have 2 that like each other and you have people that are around those people, they can rush to project and spoil it before the cake gets done. The people around the people, they're in their ear saying, and you're rushing a process that should be natural.
Yeah.
Like, let those people get themselves out. You don't have to like be in there. You should be. You guys in love yet? When's the
it's day one, man. It's day one they start asking it.
That's wild.
And that's only women do that. Men don't do that.
Women or production, because production is manipulative no matter what show it is. Trust me, on all these reality shows, there's someone in production that's like, so how do you feel?
Yeah.
So, I mean, what if you do this? So what do we, I mean, that's just how production goes.
Yeah. And you know, and I think they have a right to. I won't even throw production under the bus because, you know, are we going to tape a show for 6 months? No, they're not going to. So it's like, we're going to give this 6 weeks, 5 weeks, 4 weeks, and y'all got to figure this out. We're going to push the storyline because, you know, we got to do that, but they got to produce it, you know, otherwise nobody's going to watch. You know what I mean? They have to like get to the feelings, because you could watch me and Zadie having a great time all day. We might as well just start our own vlog or something. You know, it's not about that. It's about, where are we going? Where is the love? And I don't think I really understood that that's what they're building this story for. They're building this story for an audience who wants to see love. Mm-hmm. And I completely retreated to my comfort zone, which is work and, you know, trying to be transparent, but continue to, you know, I don't think it meshed well with what they were trying to tell. And, you know, ended up being entertaining. I feel like, you know, everybody, I'm probably sure, was yelling at the screen and stuff like that. So they,
but Cam, if you didn't retreat to work and do what was natural for you, do you think you would have been able to give them the ending that they wanted?
In hindsight, no.
Right. Exactly.
No. Yeah. So it was, like I said, everything happens for a reason. I believe, in hindsight again, that it was for me to learn, like, I need to get ready to love. Like, I need to work on myself. Right. And I need
not quite ready yet. Maybe ready in just a bit. So is that what you meant when you were like, I've changed, I've learned from this relationship, when you were on the reunion?
Yeah, that was actually a part of me having a dialogue about, you know, my communication long distance, because I have been really crappy at that. And, you know, seeing Zadia, I guess you could say, suffer in that moment, meaning like, I'm not calling as much as I should. I am picking up the phone. We are talking, but it's not me initiating it and showing that I care. And I do care, but showing I care, you know? And so when I say I've changed, I'm saying I am trying to implement that in my life a little bit more. Like, I'm trying to call my mom more, trying to talk to my dad more. Like, I don't talk to these people enough, let alone trying to foster a relationship with somebody who's not my blood. So I was saying that I need to get better at that before I can be available, you know, especially for something long distance. Golly, like, that's a huge thing.
Yeah. What about the picture? Let's talk about the parting gift, as I like to call it.
Yeah. It wasn't supposed to be that. It wasn't supposed to be that at all. So in the very beginning, you know, she knows what I do, right? I've done a photo shoot, and, you know, I'm learning about what she does with personal training, and she got all her fire looks and all that stuff. And she likes white roses. You know, I learned these things, right? And so towards the end, I was like, I want to do that for you. I want to do like a little shoot. I brought her the white roses. You know, roses die. So I figured, you know, me taking a picture would allow the roses to last forever. You know what I'm saying? I thought,
write that down. I like that.
You know, that was my mindset with that. I really wanted to give her something very just genuine, something that, I mean, I wanted to put work in, I guess. I don't know how to explain it. Well, I was trying to give it to her the last day of filming their initial show. So I printed it at like a local print shop. You know, I bought the frame and got it all put in there. And, you know, I was trying to go get it before I showed up to the mixer. But my my business, we have like photo booths and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
My booth transporter, he was AWOL. I was like, where the heck is this dude? Like, and this is like, probably like a $600-700 contract. And I'm just like, yo, I need to go. Like, I had to do it. I had to go set up the booth or whatever. And so I didn't have time to go get the picture before they closed. And so I was frustrated about that. He ended up getting arrested because he's a security guard.
Yikes.
And it was excessive force, but they dropped the charges. So he ended up picking up the booth for me, but he couldn't drop it off. So, time goes on. They ship him out like literally the next morning. And so I had the picture the whole time. And it's like, well, I'm going to bring it to the reunion because I know I'm going to see her there. And I wanted to give it to her before we had the conversation because I knew that, we had that difficulty, but production was like, nah, we're going to say that to the end. I don't know how that's going to go. I think that's going to look cringy, but I mean, I still want to give it to her and we'll see. And so it really was man, that was a disaster. And then, I got accused of just promoting my business. That's when y'all see me do like that wasn't towards what she said about the, you were relieved when I left.
Yeah.
Like I actually stopped her right there. I was like, no, I did not say that. I said the process. It had nothing to do with you. The process showing up for all this. And so of course they cut that and they put me in there looking with the dick mouth. Like just like I'm like, wow, that's solid. Like that's solid editing, bro. But like I said, I think telling the story and they told the story. They told a story. And I respect that, and I know how that looked. I told him I was like, I don't want it to do it at the end because I know how that's going to look. But
yeah,
but she loved. Like it's funny because she throws the painting and all that. But I don't know. I'll stop there. So that's the painting story.
Okay. Well, yeah. I'm hoping that I saw you guys have done some lives together, and I really believe that. I think when I saw that, Mo and I talked about it when the clip went out because they released that clip first because it was provocative, but I knew that you were not saying that you were glad when she left. It was, but I also know as a woman, we hear things that I would have heard the same thing. Like,
ooh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
What you said, Mo? What you said?
She stood up for you on that one. She was like, no, he means the production.
Yeah.
I mean, that was what she felt. But I just go back to saying, I think that this show is a good learning tool. It's a teaching moment for everybody that's dating, because I think a lot of times it's hard to do the right thing because it may not even be what your heart wants. But I think the right thing is sometimes to let something go if you know that you want something different than the other person is ready for at the time. And I think just hearing you speak and watching the example meant you just you learned that you weren't necessarily ready for what it takes to build that. You still have some growing to do.
I have a question. So if you're dating somebody that you like, that you, of course, you initially like, and y'all want to go out and date and do different things, right? How soon do you see the signs that, hey, this may not work? Usually.
Well, I will be honest, Cam, when I was, I'm in my 40s, so probably every 10 years I could see them a little bit faster. Right. So yeah. So I think and I also think that sometimes you can meet someone that what you're ready for is not necessarily where they're at. And it's hard to say, you know what? I know I'm ready for a relationship. I'm in this space. This person, because of where they are in their life, they're not there yet. So it's just kind of like but what I've learned, the beautiful thing about life, and Mo can speak to this, his perspective. The beautiful thing about life, I got married almost 3 years ago, right? And I dated a lot of guys. I was single in these Atlanta streets for a long time. So I dated a lot of different guys, but a lot of them were amazing people, right? Amazing people. And at the moment, I might have been disappointed that it didn't work. But when I found my person, I realized, oh, that's why all these things didn't work out. Right time, wrong person, right time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we like each other. I just don't see him. I don't feel like he can take care of me. Somebody else I'm extremely physically attracted to, I just don't get like, there's all these different things,
Right.
but just because it's not right. So usually women's intuition is pretty strong. I probably, if I listened to my intuition, would have saved myself a lot of heartbreak. But it's sometimes, if you like the person, especially if you have a very strong attraction or chemistry with the person, it's hard to do what you know when your heart is right.
Yeah. I definitely believe that. And I think that a lot of times you know what you don't want a lot faster than what you want.
Ooh.
You bump your head and you be like, well, I might not know exactly, but I definitely know after X amount of years of mistakes, I definitely know. So you'll see it super early.
Yeah.
You might, it could be over the phone and be like, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
That's anything. That's anything.
Yeah. I would say personally, I give it, I don't want to say it's a rule, but like a 90-day rule. Like you really kind of see somebody's true colors after that 90 days.
Oh yeah.
If you're really into them, if you're like really vibing and you don't see any red flags, like once adversity hits sometime in that 3 months, you'll see something and you'll be like, ooh, I don't like how they handle adversity. Absolutely. And that's what kind of will pull me away from them, because I can't deal with somebody where when we get into a tough time, it just makes it tougher.
Yeah.
And so I will say that everything with me and Zadi was good, like off camera, and we had good times, and we had understanding, and she's a little relentless and a little pushback, but I can handle those things. That wasn't a big deal.
Who handled it? I want you to talk about Cam. I've got 2 questions for you. The first one is, when she tried to bring up your past, all the men were like, you better go, Cam. Cam was like, I'm not talking about my past. I'm not doing it. What was that? What was the rest of that conversation like? Because the men stood up and applauded the way you totally detonated that bomb.
Yeah. Well, my mom kind of taught me that. She just really was like, if you're in a relationship, you don't really want to talk about other people. You don't really want to get into that game. Because we could be sitting there for hours and I'm just telling you about women, telling you about, certain relationships. And it's just like, where are we going with it? I'd rather tell you what I learned. And so they kind of cut that to where, of course I had that look. I was taken aback when she said it, because we had such a great conversation the day before, and we were just getting to know each other. This is in the first few days. Right. And so to bring that up, I just like, I had that thing in my head about my mom, and I just was like, no, what? But then I was like, in the same time I was saying, I don't need to tell you about my past relationships, but I will tell you about what I learned. And I said that in one continuous statement, and they chopped it. And then they had a commercial break, and then they had the second part of it. So they did let me say that, but nobody remembers that. Of course, you remember that violence of what, like, because we were having fun. It was a mixer. I thought she was kind of upset about me talking to Sharice for a while. But it didn't have anything to do with that. This was just the part where she tells me if I'm a keeper or not. I had no clue. I could have just be quiet, and she would have went down the list of a few things, and that would have been that. I don't think she was really even worried about it, but it did trigger me. Obviously.
That brings me to the second part of that question, because we talked about, you mentioned, how a person responds to adversity. I want to ask you, did you see the way Zadia interacted with the guy that she was dating on her first season, the interaction between her and Dante, and then also the interaction between Zadia and Sharice? Were you aware of any of that going back and forth, and how do you feel about that?
Yeah. So when they told me it was a Ready to Love All-Star version, no. How'd that go? I never saw anything dealing with Zadia before the show. I didn't know she was on a show. But when we did link up, I started talking to my mom about it a little bit and telling her you know, what 4 women were, you know, on the show. Cause my mom loves that kind of stuff. She watched all the seasons and stuff.
Oh.
Well, really just when I told her I was going on the show, she did her
Oh,
research.
okay.
Like she just watched all the seasons. So she kind of told me and sent me some clips of that situation in the very beginning, once me and Zadia had already started talking, but that didn't really affect me as far as how I feel about her. You know, I think she was in a different situation at that time. And, you know, yeah, I mean, people have weak moments, and I just feel like it's about who you're dealing with. Like she would never do that to me. She would never come at me like that. And it's just about how we communicate, you know, versus whatever she was going through there. Like I really have no context as far as what that was. And then the thing with Charisse, you know, of course, when I dropped her off and, you know, that whole she couldn't get in the house and all that kind of stuff. Like I saw her walk around to the other side because I'm gonna sit there until she gets in the house. I'm not just about to drive off while she's sitting outside. But she did tell me about it later on that they got into it, and so she never really dwelled on it with me. And but I know she was dealing with that. And a lot of times, like I think when she wanted to hang out, she wanted to escape the house and that situation and those type of situations. And just, you know, you're used to living by yourself, and then you're with 3 women and production and all that kind of stuff. It's like, man, all I got, you know, come by Cam, all I gotta deal with is Cam and a dog. Like it's peace. You know what I'm saying? It's much more peace. And like I'm gonna be doing my work, or she'd be chilling or laying up, or, you know, or be talking, eating, or go get something to eat. Like it was just much calmer, and I feel like I provided a safe space for her just to relax in New Orleans, you know. And I feel like I tried to do that with all the girls, taking them out. And so yeah, I mean, it's funny because they went through those ups and downs, like because they had times where we all went out together and they, you know, they were dancing, and around Zadia's birthday, Charisse came out with us, you know. And so like, you know, I just try to be like a dampener for that, you know. Like I want to, if I'm talking to you, I want to help you through those tough times, and not get it to where it's like somebody getting you this energy and then you give it to somebody else, and it's just, we're just making it worse. I rather, like, you know, you going through that energy, but come here and I'm just going to, you know, just be calm and patient with you. And I want to say that's something that maybe she liked about me, outside of, you know, the surface level things.
Did you see anything on the show? Because taping it is one thing, and then watching it back, you're probably seeing a lot of things that you didn't know as far as the confessionals and the conversation.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you saw that kind of threw you off when you watched the show back?
Yeah. 2 things really stand out. One was that Zadia mentioned that I talk about jobs and time a lot in the very beginning. That's crazy to me that she mentioned that maybe on the first date, that she, and I did not know that she was thinking, maybe it wasn't, maybe they chopped it up, I don't know. But she did have that worry a lot. She didn't express that it was a big worry to me. She more so helped me through it. So, you know, that was an interesting part. Another one was Charisse and her confessionals. Like, I was like, damn, girl, like my parents like might be watching this or something. Like you kind of talking crazy, you know, about me. And I was just like, But I mean, she, like I said, she was sweet, very sweet in person. I don't think she said anything so out of line, but it was unnecessary, some of the things that she said. And, you know, but it's all love. Like I really think everybody was going through a very microwave stressful time. And so, you know, it is what it is. I have no love lost for anybody. I really respect, especially the women. I respect them so much. They going through it. Like, I mean, to go on a show twice, I don't think I'll ever go on a show again. I'm good. I'm about to, you know, do my own thing. I want to create my own or have my own narrative. And, you know, I don't like leaving other people in control. That's why a lot of, I'll say, you know, a lot of successful men will opt out of things like this, because, you know, they can create their own narrative. They can hire their own videographer. They can do whatever they want going on, and then attract women as well. I think, anyway.
What do you think about any of the other guys? We talked to, like I said, we talked to Mizell and Donald. And we also we also talked to Keith. We supposed to talk to Tabari. Did you know any of the other guys prior to the show? Do you have any thoughts?
No, I didn't know any of the guys before the show. I think we all were kind of like deer in the headlights whenever we were like, they would put us in like a holding tank before we shoot, and we'd be like, oh, who's the guy's gonna be today? You know, it's kind of a running joke that, oh, Cam's gonna be here. Cam's you know, because I was the longest, you know, I was on there the longest. You know, but I think all the guys were cool, very respectful. Maurice is that dude. He a real cool guy. You know, I talked to him a lot. Maurice, I talked to Donald a bit. He's a very talented guy. You know, those are the people I connected with the most. Tabari, I think he's a real, just, you know, just, I don't know. He's a ambitious, sweet guy. Just kind of, just, you know, real kind and bubbly. So just, you know, I have nothing bad about the guys to say. I will say that everybody was kind of like a transplant. I don't think a lot of people really knew the city like that. I think I was one of the only people who really, like, I'm in the city a lot. You know, I've been down here running businesses and things, and, you know, I had the connections to kind of show the girls around and stuff, or even just Zadia, just showing her different spots around the city outside of the show, different food places and things like that she would never have been experienced. So, you know, I think that was kind of unfortunate for the women that they didn't get somebody who could help them explore New Orleans, like for real. Outside.
I would have thought Tabari, with him being a business owner and having a restaurant and all that, was he not a trans? Was he not?
Like I said, I think Tabari a great guy and got a lot of things going for him, I believe. And I'll be honest, I didn't watch like every nuanced piece of the show. I really just watched the clips that they're talking about my storyline and stuff. But I think he kind of splits his time between Mississippi and New Orleans.
Okay.
So he's still not as entrenched in the culture. Like, I mean, I'll tell you this. Remember Walter?
Yeah.
He is an OG. He is a part of a rap group down here called PNC. And that dude is but he was only on there one episode. Why? Because he was mad chill, and the girls probably should have picked him or whatever. Unavailable. You know what I'm saying? He probably had shows and things like that, but he basically said, you know, y'all trying to play with my time too much. Therefore, I can't do this. So he got killed off screen, but not because he's not a cool guy, super cool guy. Entrenched in the culture. He could have shown a lot of culture, way more than even me. Like, he's a triple OG, man, like boss level. But you're just not gonna get a lot of guys like that.
I say that all the time. Like, it's hard, especially with guys. What did you think about Kirsten? And I'll say this: I thought that he did the right thing by not saying anything. What did you think about Kirsten opting not to speak?
Yeah, that boy went full Marshawn Lynch on them boys. That boy went full Marshawn Lynch. I love it. I'm not gonna say I love it. That's terrible. I wish, you know, I wish growth upon everybody, and I would have hoped that everybody could use it as a growing moment, and I'm sure they will. But I know he was probably tired of it, man. Like, it was exhausting, like emotionally draining, and I don't know. As a man, I don't think we dive into those spaces enough, or, you know, even we have no desire to be in that space of just like consistently talking about emotions and how we feel, and it's just draining, man. It's draining. It's like, what more do y'all want from me? Y'all twisted the story up, and now I got to explain a twisted story. What do y'all want? You know what I'm saying?
I know. What more do you want from me?
Not the Tyrese. Lord. I related. Like I said, it's very out of character for me to be like, wrap this up. But you know, they put you in a holding tank for 7 hours, you know, stale food, bad temperature, telling you can't go nowhere, can't even sit in your car. Like, I'm just here. Like I would feel the same way. I'm not gonna, especially with how things kind of went with his situation and having another guy right there that, think about it. Like, I'm getting an interview and I gotta sit next to my op. I gotta sit next to my competition. Like, they didn't even give him
off and brought back and kicked off and brought back, and he was just
I would have been very calloused in that moment if I was in his position. So man, just respect to everybody. I feel like everybody tried to handle it as best as possible. And if you ain't got nothing nice to say,
don't say anything at all. That's what I took it. I don't know why people were really upset. Well, Kirsten, we appreciate you coming in. I do want to ask you, what will you take moving forward? I got to ask you that because Mo and I have some tea to spill, and we don't want you to have to be a part of that. I don't want you to have to listen to anything that may be.
It's about to get crazy.
It may be a little crazy. So we want to end this with you on a good note.
Wait, it's about to get crazy. How? Like, with me or about other?
No,
okay.
We have something else from someone else, but no. What will you take from this experience into your next dating experience? Are you dating now? And if so, what did you learn that you're going to be able to apply to the next situation?
I think what I've learned the most is just I need to get in touch with my emotions, and I need to just talk more about, building with somebody and the romance and the care and the sweet things with somebody versus focusing so much on business and the superficial things of life. I think my goal on the show was to find somebody to build with and to love and to understand that if that's what I want, I really need to go out of my way to make them feel the love. If I could feel it in my heart all I want, but I need to express it and get better at talking about it and get better at building a safe space to like build with someone. I think that's what I want to take from all of this. I really appreciate the time that you guys have given me. This is free therapy for me. Say it again.
Question. What happened to are you single?
Yeah, I'm single. I am, I explore options. I date or whatever. Not, but I'm still working on myself.
Yeah.
Are you and Zadia still? Are you guys still friends? How's that relationship?
Yeah. We are still friends. I think watching the show brought us even closer, because we had everything up until the reunion. The reunion was rough. It's funny because the day after reunion, she called me and was like, "I don't like how that ended. Please, can we meet? Please, can we meet?" And so we did end up meeting and just talking about everything. And of course, we stood firm on where we were at with it. But, she told me that she really did love the painting or the picture. And like, it was just, I was frustrated about those things, but we got past that. I understood that. Like, going back and looking at it, I'm like, man, she had a crazy day. Mm-hmm. I feel bad that it ended with us going like that because she had a tough day with the Charisse thing and just long day with that. So I understood, maybe her, being a little bit, just, I don't know, just angry with me in that moment. And so I felt like that's fine. And so since then we've talked a lot. Like I said, we just talked, a few days ago for hours, just having a conversation, so I definitely cherish her as a person that I connected with and that, I can bounce things off of and there's warmth between us, like, for sure.
Okay. Well, that's good. That's the best you can hope for, that you left with a friend and a good experience and you learned. So you won.
Yeah. No, like I said, I'm learning a lot and it's irreplaceable experience. I'm just going to try to learn from it as best as possible. And with every conversation, I'm just going to try to get better. That's it.
So you have your photography business and you're a pharmacist. So you are you definitely, it sounds like you need a woman that doesn't have a lot going on, or can put some of her stuff to the side and really be a part of your support system.
Yeah, I think that's a good analysis. I think, at first I wanted somebody to build with and just have conversations with and like talk, but that's not what I need. I really need somebody who's nurturing, can keep my head straight when I'm just going down that work path, and be like, hey babe, go spend some time with your godson. Mm-hmm. Hey babe, go talk to your mama, go fly and see your mama. Like, mm-hmm. Having people in my life who give me the balance, because I clearly see that I'm lacking it. I'm just work. I feel like just an ambitious wreck sometimes, overwhelmed with a lot of my responsibilities. So having somebody to be just a peaceful spot in my life, and nurturing. My mother was very, very nurturing, cooking food all the time, and mm-hmm. Just very. And I'm not saying I want a mother, because I want to be there for her as well and support her. And
but you want the qualities. That's usually what people look for, is the qualities that they saw and that they experienced that mm-hmm. made them feel loved. Yeah. So your mom, obviously, with you still being close to your mom, you felt love from her, and that's probably how you're going to define it, in a relationship. Not saying that she would be your mom, but right. That's the definition of love. Like, we all have different love languages. Ooh. And we learn from.
Yeah, that's deep. That's deep. Yeah. Well.
All right. Well, we appreciate it. We hope you'll come back. You have an open door. Hopefully you'll come back and visit us when you have things to promote. You obviously are an amazing photographer, because you have a lot of beautiful women on your page that you've taken pictures of.
Well, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you sharing the platform and, being just open to talk to me and open with your platform. I'll definitely come back whenever you want. I think this was fun. I appreciate both of your perspectives. And so thank you.
All right. Thank you, Cam. Have a good one.
You too, guys.
All right. Okay. All right. So I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that conversation.
He might be my favorite. He's a nice.
I liked him because I feel like he's genuine. I like Donald too. I feel like Donald.
No, he reminds me of
who?
And my son is not that age, but he reminds me of my son Christopher.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah,
his son is super laid back, just like that.
But I don't think he was trying to be. I think that's just him. I think that really is who he is. It felt very genuine.
Good.
And speaking of genuine, so we've got to talk about yesterday. Let's talk a little bit about yesterday, shall we? We had on Mizell and Donald. Now, this was the second time that we had Mizell on, and we talked about a lot of different things. I think we talked a lot about respect. We talked a lot about just moving forward, and I just want to play this clip just to remind everybody of where we were yesterday, in case you weren't here. I'm gonna give you guys a few more minutes to send us some likes. Go ahead and share this so people can get in the chat. I'm gonna pull up this clip, and we're gonna talk. We're just gonna have a little bit of a recap, if you will, here from yesterday's conversation. You guys will remember that because it was less than 24 hours ago. So here we go. That makes sense. Yep. Mizell, what about you? What's happening, Mizell? I know your DMs are open. Is Ranger found a mom? Is he?
I'm going to invoke my 5th Amendment, 6th Amendment, and 14th Amendment rights. So I'm going to leave that right there for you guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to incriminate myself. No, go ahead.
Yeah. Beautiful setup. Interesting. So the thing that stood out the most to me yesterday was the word respect. word respect. Now, I'm going to title this something. I just want you to be real clear. I'm titling this, "You Did This to Yourself." And I'm talking to you, Mizell. We had an interesting person reach out to us prior to the show. And they told us that someone might be on there that's not who they say they are. And we had no clue. So we do the show, we get off, they reach back out. And with that being said, Christal, I would like for you to
Well, I want to show the first part of evidence.
yes.
I want you guys to remember the clip that I just played. I said to Mizell, I said Ranger, because you guys know Ranger joined us yesterday. I said Ranger needs a mom. So the DM that I got yesterday was from a young lady who sent me this picture. In this picture, you will see Ranger and another dog that belongs to another woman who presented herself as Mizell's girlfriend.
Yes.
So without further ado, I would like to lead you all to receipt number 2.
Yeah. You did this to yourself. You got into this. Now, with that being said, she reached out to us through DM while she was actually, let me even take it back a little further. And I want you guys to go back to yesterday's show. If you can get the live portion, the live comments, because she's in those comments. I'm not going to say her name, but it rhymes with Shelly. You go back in those comments, and she makes a comment about Ranger. She says hello to Ranger. Now, moving forward, she and Mizell was texting.
Yes.
During the live streaming yesterday.
So and the only reason that we are presenting this information is because it came to me, and it's so very different. I mean, there's levels to this, but I want to point out, because we did ask Mizell, was he in a relationship, and he pled the 5th, which I thought was kind of strange, but I didn't assume that he was in a relationship. Now, this is the text message between him and the young lady that he has been dating since August. After the reunion, not during the show, so he wasn't dating her during the show. After the reunion, they watched the entire show together, and they have been together. That picture that we just showed you was a picture during Christmas. They spent Christmas together, and this is what was happening while Mizell was on last night with us. I'm going to read this for those of you that may not be able to read the screen, that may be like us and have some, eyes that may not adjust to the screen. So she says, babe, mute yourself. Because you guys know when Ranger was like breathing heavy and people were like, oh, we can hear Ranger, Mizell needs to mute himself. And then he says, how about now? Can you hear me? And she says, better. All we could hear was his panting and other noise, but you're looking good, my silver fox. And then he says, am I sitting too far back? She says, not at all. You and Mo are about the same. And because you like to sit up when you talk, you should be back a little bit. And then he says, okay, how did that sound? And he says, you are always on point. And you have a couple of admirers in the chat. One said that she's ready to feed you.
Now, here's the problem. As she's saying this, she's talking to us, telling us she's feeling hurt because he's not stating that he has a woman. Like, this has nothing to do with him having a woman. I'm going back to the thing that we established yesterday. It's about respect and love. And we asked him what was more important, and he said respect. And I get that. Here's the thing. Where's the respect for her? You've been having her tucked away, brother. Where's the respect for her? Like I said, I don't care about her race or whatever it is. People can do whatever you want with that. That's not the issue. I'm talking about the respect. He said if he wouldn't even be in a relationship if he wasn't respected. He wasn't shown that respect. And my thing is, where's the respect for her? That's all I'm saying. The other stuff, I don't really care about.
But Tanya said the tea is cold. I will tell you this.
No.
I don't. We have some more tea. We had some more. I don't
deeper than that.
Yeah, I don't want to go deeper into it. The point is, that he was not honest, right? And we are, and as someone has pointed out, this is a Caucasian queen. Right. There's nothing wrong with that. We are equal opportunity and equal. We believe in love as no color, or anything. But the young lady was reaching out to me because she felt hurt.
That's what I'm talking about. She felt hurt. This wasn't about her and that. She's texting him that, but she's DMing us saying she's hurt. And when I tell you, she gave a lot of dirt that we're sparing.
We don't want to, because we don't, not Gun Boss is stupid. We don't want to put the information out because a lot of it was not, basically, I'll just say this. She says that Mizell did not present himself to be what he claimed he would be. She also said that he shared with her that, I'm just going to read it. Let me just read it. There's some other things in here about his personal life that I don't want to share, but she said that she's met his family. He's met her family. She says that he's not going to tell the world what he really thinks. He didn't find any of those women attractive at all, and only because he has a different preference.
Which I don't think, to be honest with you, I wasn't surprised about that. I don't know why I wasn't, but I wasn't surprised that that's what he went with, to be honest.
You weren't, so she suggested that his preference was not women of color. I do want to answer that question. I did ask her about the hygiene question, and I'm going to read you her response. Hold on. Okay. I said, did you see that Sharice and Vern mentioned that he had bad breath? And she said, I will say that Mizell has very good hygiene. He's always cleaned and groomed. No issues there. So she did.
We're really sparing it because the other stuff is the stuff you guys really want to hear, but we chose not to really go that direction. You know what I mean? But my whole thing was he stood on respect. And that was the issue that I had. I'm like, it was this whole gentleman approach. And if I find, and I'm like, yo, this is your queen, B. This is your queen. Like, what happened? Like, you supposed to stand on that? Or I don't know if he felt funny or shame or whatever. But I asked the man at the end of the question, I was like, is there anything you want to get off your chest?
And I did ask him, did Ranger have a mom? And she said that he calls her Ranger's mom. So I felt like at that point, and she said, when she reached out, she said, this was Mizell's chance to mention that he is in a relationship.
That's all we're saying.
Now, we bringing this up because, again, Mo, you were always kind of like, I feel like Mizell is on the BS. And I tried to say, well, maybe not. But hearing this, it is upsetting. And I'm not gonna lie, for me, I was a little thrown off to have a woman tell me that a man going on a show with Black women would tell someone that his preference is not Black women. Now, I did ask her where his children are by Black women, and they are, but she claims that now. So even if he's just telling her that, he's not being honest. I'm not going to interview her because they are actually still in a relationship. She sent me proof that they spent Christmas together. They have been together. They were texting last night. So, they are together. So this is not to mess up their relationship. It really is just about,
she ain't going nowhere.
She's not going anywhere.
She ain't
going.
But
I did tell her, I'll be honest. She had too much proof. Nikita, she definitely is with him. Trust me. I mean, there's numerous pictures we showed you guys.
Oh, what's up, man?
It's a bunch of pictures, but you go from, we saw that was Ranger last night. This is them together. They're out there. They're together. And that's fine. I thought it was weird when he said, I don't want you guys to incriminate me. I'm like, we're just asking, are you in a relationship? I feel like for her, she was hurt and I said to her that she deserved better, because if he is, spending that much time together, if he's met her children and he's let her talk to his daughters, then why wouldn't he come on the show and say he was in a relationship? Much like Jabari did. Jabari said he was in a relationship. And I actually told her I thought it would have made him look better, because I think we were like, Mizell, you are 54 years old. Nothing is wrong with being single, but are you serious? Do you really want to be in a relationship? And he said that he would come back and share, but he did not want to. He obviously did not want to say. But we just thought that was very strange. I think the woman was.
Just be real clear with that. We didn't reach out to her. We weren't looking for this.
Yeah.
She reached out to her, hurt that she was disrespected. She felt disrespected, and he was standing on respect. And I just thought that was just odd, because that was the whole thing we talked about in the beginning of the show yesterday. It was love over respect. And
I'm going to read you guys the first text that she sent. Hello, Christal. From my understanding, you have a podcast with the men of Ready to Love, Make a Move coming up soon. I'm typically not this bitter woman. I can move on like nothing ever happened. But baby, one of those men are absolutely not who they portray to be. And I feel bamboozled. I've been dating him since late August and found out some things that would make most women run like hell. But I believe in second chances and that people are genuinely good. People go through some shit, even when they put themselves in that shit, but they still need love. I thought I was that for this man. So after I said, what man are you speaking about? She said, I'd rather not say at the moment. I'd like to see the outcome of the podcast. And if they knew I reached out to you, they would either not do the podcast or completely fabricate everything. I still believe he's a good man. He's just not who he portrays himself to be to the world. And I think it's due to embarrassment. I have receipts and I saw receipts, but I want to see the podcast first, if that's still a possibility. I do think there are certain questions that should be asked, as in, are you in a relationship? So we did that. We asked him, was he in a relationship? And he pled the fifth.
It would have made him look good. That's why I didn't understand that.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. I would have been upset that I'm with this guy snuggled up. I'm here, texting him on how he should look better and how she should not, what he should do. And then he says he wants to plead the fifth, especially at 54. Like, I would give a little bit of Donald. I felt like Donald is not she is here now and willing to speak. Oh, people have said her name. Oh my goodness. Did y'all find her in the chat? Did they find her name in the chat? Because I feel like I'm happy to bring her on if she wants to come on. I'm happy to bring her on because she will know I did not say some of the information that she shared with me because I did not want to
blurt out her face.
I don't want to, and I blurred out her face because I did not want to embarrass her. And I also did not want to I don't want to embarrass him. We're not trying to, oh, okay, Kelly, I'm gonna send you the link. She says I blocked him already, so I'll come on. Okay, let me send Kelly the link. I'm gonna DM it to you, Kelly.
Now I didn't know we was going here, but it's good. But my thing is, it was about him standing on respect, and that was the thing that I was talking about. He was like, it was respect over love, and the men, other than Christal's husband, was standing on that, and I was like, cool. But then when she came in and saying she felt disrespected, I'm like, it's got to be a two-way street with respect. It can't just go one way for anybody, you know. So I was like, yo. Like I said, we just talked about it, and the other stuff that, to be honest with you, was way worse on this character that we could be saying, and that's up to her if she wants to say it. That's not what we choose to say, you know what I mean? But it was a lot of stuff that I would have been embarrassed if that was me.
Well, but I think the problem is he came on. This is my issue, and Kelly, we are welcoming. You'll be absolutely fine. You see, I was not even planning to do this tonight. I came on with the bun and very little makeup, but I feel like this is my problem. He said he was here. He came on the show to show respect, show that Black men are gentlemen, and that that there could be Black love. And if you don't prefer Black women and you are, you know, you are not being respectful, then why would you even, that's disrespectful to the woman that's been holding you down. And I told her that in our DM. I was like, that's not cool and you can do better. And I knew that her friends were telling her the right thing, because that's what I would tell my friend as well. So I feel like, and okay, so Wiggly Kidlet says it depends on how highly he respected the podcast. But why come here if you don't respect? Why come? And I will say, I was talking to Mizell. We were trying to actually create a situation in New Orleans where I would do like a reunion with all the guys. So I think that, you know, he was, if you're gonna do that, then tell the truth.
That's it.
Yeah. So thank you so much for that. I'm not sure. I'm texting her now. Or I can resend. Let me try to resend it to her. But yeah, I just, you know, that was what it was. Also, there was the issue between and I don't dislike Mizell. We're just doing a podcast. We're just talking on YouTube. This is definitely not to you know, do anything other than say, Mizell, you should have just acknowledged you were in a relationship, because why not? Why not? Why plead the fifth?
I think it made him look good.
I do too. I told her, I said it would have made him look good. It would have made him look better if he had just admitted that he was in a relationship, because, you know, otherwise people are like, he's not really serious. He's not really serious. He's not really looking for love. A lot of women were saying he's not really seriously looking for love. He is just on here playing with women's feelings. But, you know, with this situation, I'm thinking, okay, well, he really is in a relationship. And we all like Mizell and Roger. Obviously, Kelly likes them as well. Because, I mean, I think that he probably, maybe this will help him be open and be more honest. You know what I mean?
That's all, brother. That's all. I used to be that way. Running around, deceiving women.
I don't know. And I don't know. I would feel some kind of way if I had spent that much time with a man and then he says he wants to plead the fifth. That would have irritated me.
Oh, that's crazy.
And then, you know, and then he's, you know, there's the, let me ask you this, because there's the whole idea of men saying that they don't want to admit they're in a relationship, because then people will try to not Mizell is making sure no player is left behind. They're saying that, you know, oh, if I tell I'm in a relationship, people are going to try to break up the relationship.
I hear women say that. I don't talk to men, so maybe they do say that. But I hear women say that.
But why would men not show a woman on their why would he not share that he's in a relationship?
I don't know. If she was really wanted to do it, I tell you that.
So he is a dean. A dean is definitely not higher than a principal. A dean is definitely not higher than a principal. But, hey. I don't know if Kelly's going to be able to come on. I think she's having some issues. We're not outing this. Like, why are you outing this man? We're not outing him. She reached out, and I just feel like she had a right to speak. She had a right to share her truth.
I knew somebody was going to say that.
Yeah, it's okay. And y'all calling him Lizelle, but upset with me for putting the truth out.
That's what I'm saying. If he's Lizelle and we put out the truth, then what is it? Come on, man.
No, Kelly is not a teacher. Kelly is Mizelle's girlfriend that he did not acknowledge he had. And see, these are nice couple pictures.
She can tell you what she do if she figures the thing out to get on.
These are nice pictures.
Oh, he looks happy.
Yeah.
There's a video we didn't put up too, but yeah.
Yeah, he looks very happy. There's a video of him on Christmas. They're having a good time. And, I'm not sure. Okay. Kelly is here. Kelly!
Lord.
Kelly!
I know. It took me a minute to get here.
It's okay. Well, first of all, welcome.
Welcome.
Thank you.
And I want to say to you, and I said this to you yesterday, I know this it can be hurtful. And I want to say first, as a woman, there's nothing wrong with giving a man the benefit of the doubt. And because it seems like that's what you were really doing with him. And I text you, I was like, you deserve better than that. Just the fact that you have been there for him. And then he literally was trying to play it cool and smooth. That's not cool. You know what I mean? Especially at the level that you guys have been together since August.
Right.
So how did you?
There's been a lot. There's been a lot there. So that's why I told you I wanted to see what he was going to do on the podcast, because that was his chance. Like, that's your opportunity. You gave him several opportunities and you just kind of shut it down. And it just made me, you got to understand how that made me feel. I'm looking at the TV and I'm like, this mother right here, like, that you had an opportunity and you pled the fifth.
What did he tell you he was going to do? Because you knew that he was coming on the show, and because you said, I didn't know who you were talking about. I literally thought that you were talking about Cam, because Cam said he wasn't going to be able to come on, right, or Tabari. So I had no idea. People are saying we love you, Kelly. We send love and hugs, Kelly. Dump him, Kelly. But what did he tell you? Did you guys talk about, like, if he was going to acknowledge that you guys were in a relationship?
No, not really. Because I had asked him, my questions are always, because I know he contacts you, and I'm like, well, what's the theme of this? Like, I know you're talking about the show, and I think it's great that you guys got the guys on there to tell their story, because I have heard some of the stories. I've heard him talk to, Donald or Maurice. So I've heard him have these conversations with them. So I thought it was great that you guys got him on there, all of them on there. So that was the premises of the whole thing, was just to kind of go over the show and how, the guys were basically kind of bambooed. Like, they didn't know. They really thought it was going to be like the old show. And so I thought it was good for them to be able to voice everything that had happened. So that was all we talked about.
So what were you thinking? Because you said that you guys have been together dating. You showed me the video of you guys on Christmas together. Where were you guys? Just for people that did not, because I didn't read all the text messages, obviously. What has the relationship been like? Because I know you said you guys watched the show together. Where were you guys at with the relationship? How serious was it?
It's only been 5 months, so it's still, new, but when you got somebody asking you, well, when's your lease up? When's your lease up? And I'm like, well, my lease has been up. I go month to month now, or what have you. Oh, when when we finally get together, we're going to have to get a bigger place because, I have a dog, you have a dog. We're talking about getting another German Shepherd together because Ranger needs him like a little buddy. Because my dog, she's old, she's 8, and she bullies Ranger like it ain't nobody's business. And so we do talk about things like that, and we talk about living in the Ninth Ward because I live in Mississippi. I live in an area. It's right on the line of Louisiana and Mississippi. So I travel 45 minutes every weekend to go see him. I've been at his house every single weekend. Maybe once I haven't. I've stayed at his house 3 weekends to watch his dog while he goes to Houston because his kids are in Houston. So there's been a lot. 45 minutes every weekend. He ain't never once come to my house.
Why didn't he come to you? Because I know you said he met your children.
I'd be honest with you, I would like to plead the fifth on that one too. There's a reason, and I did put that in the message. I just don't know if I want to put like the whole business out there.
I got you. I do got it. She's definitely not BS, and there is a reason that she shared with me, and I just don't want to put that out there because it's just not important to the story. What's really important is the fact that we were talking to Cam earlier, and I feel like sometimes men are not honest with their intentions. Do you feel like, I know you guys met on a social media site, but do you feel like did you guys actually talk about being exclusive? Because if you're driving 45 minutes, I'm assuming that you guys are actually talking about being together, and you're together, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. As a matter of fact, we discussed that not on our first date as in we're going to be exclusive. The conversations were, I don't entertain but more than one. I'm not out here dating. Like, I am 46 years old. I am ready for long term here, right?
Okay, Kelly.
So I'm ready for long term. I'm not going to play the game. So, I just want to let you know this is how I am. And he's like, oh yes, that's, and basically it's like, how does one date several at one time? Because you have to give all this energy to different people, and that's very hard to do that. And I'm like, well, yeah, because if I'm talking to this one person and we're talking about something that's irrelevant to you or whatever, and I come to your house or we're talking and I mention that's a slip up, right? Mm-hmm. So he's like, yeah, we both agreed that this was it. We're going to see each other and that is it.
Okay. Wow. So you guys are seeing each other. What was his feedback on the show? Because that did bother me a little bit, that he acknowledged to you that he wasn't attracted to any of the ladies on the show, but he told us something very different, obviously, when he was there. And I mean, that could have been because he didn't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but exactly. What was his feedback on when you guys were watching the show together?
So, and you're absolutely right. He does not want to hurt people's feelings. He actually thinks that it's kind of irrelevant of having to actually mention his preference. Mm-hmm. And that it's just something that just didn't need to be said, because he's like, if I put that out there, they're really going to be on it. Yeah, I said, they're going to have a lot of people that are on you. I said, because there's a lot of people that think that, color shouldn't matter. I don't see color. My kids don't see color. My oldest daughter is biracial. People are people, human are human. Mm-hmm. And he has a preference, of white women. And
that's what this thing, I don't think it's about people having a problem with preference. I think it's the problem that he went on a show that is black women. So that's why would he go on that show when there's
pure entertainment? From our conversation, it was pure entertainment. It was something for him to do in the middle of the summer. He got paid for it.
Because he was out because he's a dean, so he didn't have to work during the summer.
Mm-hmm. And he needed money. As far as I'm going to get.
Yeah. Moe?
Yeah.
So Moe felt like Mizell was full of it the whole time. And he said to me when I told him about our conversation yesterday, he was like, I knew it. he's full of it. And even when I just told him that you said, because I didn't know who you were talking about, I was like, somebody said that there's somebody on the show that's not representing themselves. Mo was like, he's not being 100%. Mo, what was it that you saw that made you think that about Mizell more than anybody else?
Because real recognize real, a game recognize game. I used to be that. I know what it is.
Yeah.
I know what it is, just being honest. And I have friends who are all in that lane. I know what it is when I see it. I just thought at 54 years old, though, B, you got to
55, baby. 55. I turn 56 next month.
Okay. Oh, whoa. Okay. See? We would have outgrew that. Like, we get past that. We graduate from that. But
so I've got a really good friend who is watching this right now. I sent it to her, and she watched it with her husband. Hi, Monica. Hi, Debo. They watched it, his very first podcast with you guys. Yeah. And she called me right after, and they are basically saying the exact same things, Mo. Like, he got a mouth, he got a mouthpiece. He's got this, he's got that.
He's well spoken, he's a nice looking man, so he can sell it. That's what it is.
Yeah.
What was it about him?
He's very convincing, and he's extremely charming. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Extremely charming. He is when we're out and about. He does treat people with respect. I've never seen him treat the waiter but I've never seen him do that. Like, he really is that type of person when he's out and about.
I believe that, but I also believe, like, I use certain words when he was speaking to Vern, and the lingo, I know bullshit. And it's funny that I peep bullshit.
Well, I felt bad for you, Kelly, last night when we were talking, because I felt like you were, it's almost to the same extent of like with Zadia, like, if a man is not really that serious, and sometimes as a woman, all of us have made that mistake. So I want to ask you, like, what was it? You told me that you guys met on a dating platform, right?
Right.
Tell us about how you guys, like, how you fell for him, and what was it about him that you really enjoyed? Because I do see that he could be charming. I saw that in the first date with Charisse.
He's very charming. He knows exactly, what to say. He's been there. Our very first date, we had actually been talking for at least 2, maybe 3 weeks before we decided to kind of meet up. And we did message on this dating platform, like for maybe a day. And then we exchanged numbers. And this man literally, until I finally decided to block him, this man calls me every single morning, at least once or twice during the day. He's calling me when he's going home. We're FaceTiming every single night. Like, it was a consistency for me.
Was it good morning, beautiful every morning?
No, I'll be honest with you. I'll tell you, because it was about a couple weekends ago. He texted me, and I don't like GM. Don't text me GM. Don't text me. I want you to type this out. You're 55 years old. Type this shit out.
I'm with you too. I don't like good morning. I don't like good morning, beautiful. Who are you talking to, sir? Don't send me a group text. Don't you do it.
Right. Don't GM me. You're too old. I don't like GM. I don't like, WYD. I don't, type this stuff out. Like, I don't like it. So I had asked him, like, do me a favor, don't do that. But our very first date, we went to a local bar, the Franklin, not too far from where he lives in the North Ward. And it just went very smooth. There was no awkwardness. There was no hesitation. It was just a very smooth, very flow. We do have a lot of things in common. Well, let me take that back. I thought we had a lot of things in common. I thought we both had the same, long-term goals in mind. I'm a spiritual person. He's a spiritual person. We're not 100% religious people. I am a very laid back, I'm going to sit home with my dog, I'm going to watch TV. I don't have to be out in the streets. I don't have to be out and about. I like a home life. I like going to the park. Like, everything that I was doing, he was doing. So it was a lot of connection. And that's where it kind of really stemmed, was having this like simple life connection.
So you guys you watched the show. How did he tell you about that? Was that something that he told you early on, or did he tell you like how did he
Yeah.
introduce the fact that he was getting ready to be on television?
I'm wanting to, it may have been that first date. It may have been the second date that he, we were driving somewhere and he's like, well, I just want to let you know there's going to be some drama. I'm about to read some drama. I said, damn. I said, already I got drama coming. He's like, no, there's this show. I was on this show and I already knew about the first show. I watched on network. I like a lot of the stuff. So I'm like, okay, cool. And he's like, this is what it was. He actually told me everything. Where the house, he actually drove me by the house, where the house was at. Gave me the rundown of everything, and that the first episode was going to be played, I'm wanting to say maybe 3 weeks, 4 weeks after our first date. So he had me come over. We watched the first episode, but we also realized he wasn't going to be on that. I think he ended up being on it like at the 5th or 6th one.
Mm-hmm.
So we watched it all the way, up to that. So he already prepared me before it even came out that he was going to be on this show.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd asked him, I said, well, why did you do this? I'm curious. I've never been on, why do people do this? And he's like, well, pure entertainment. It was going to be, something that had already happened before. And as a matter of fact, he had never even watched the first Ready to Make a Love. He didn't know anything about it until somebody had reached out to him via Instagram, social media.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And he didn't even know about it. So he had to go back and like catch up on some of it. And let me say something. When you're a little narcissistic and you got people reaching out to you and telling you that you look good and you need to do this and do that, he knows he looks good, y'all. He looks good. He really does. He keeps himself in shape. But the fact when you got to say that several times a week, I know I look, and I'm like, you need to be a little bit more humble. You need to be a little bit more humble. I said, because you don't act like I don't have people in my DM all the time, but I'm in there deleting, delete.
Uh-oh.
So it when you have people coming at you like that, that was.
So wait a minute. Was he telling? Was he telling you, Kelly, was he telling you that he looked good?
Getting on something where he can promote his book and his show. Oh, hold on a minute.
That 14-page book?
What happened?
13 pages, Mo.
I can't hear you now.
Uh-oh, she can't hear us. Hold on. You may have to go out and come back in.
Hold on, I can't hear you.
She got to go out and come back in.
Yeah. No, I think I got you on my TV, so I can see you on my TV.
Okay. But it's going to be an echo. Just click out and click back on the link again.
But it's going to be an echo.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to leave and come back.
Okay. Somebody said my Zelle is trying to call her. I cannot. Woo. Mo.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
I want to say, I don't feel like he absolutely lied. He just avoided telling the truth.
Show off the queen, brother.
If I was her, I would be mad. But for us, he didn't technically lie. He technically avoided the truth.
Right.
Yeah. Yes, he technically avoided. She's coming back in. Magic said no, he lied. He lied. Gigi said he lied. Omission is a lie. It is a lie if somebody is holding you down like that. And I swear it's so much more. I know that she's not being hateful to him.
Thing wrong, correct?
Say it again.
Incriminating implies that you did something wrong, correct?
Because he did say that he didn't want to incriminate himself. That was wild.
Yes.
That was wild. But I will tell you guys, she is not being hateful because there's some more information that she could have shared that she's not and that I'm not sharing. So she's really trying to hold him down. She's not trying to be hateful. So let's talk. Let's go back to where we were before, Kelly. We were talking about the show and his interpretation of things as you guys started to date? Because I want to make sure that we know he did not tell us that he wasn't. He just said he wanted to plead the fifth, so he did not incriminate himself, which was a strange choice of words.
Right.
So what was your thoughts? Because when you text me initially, I saw that you were waiting to see what he was going to say, but then I was like, oh, I know she's probably hurt, because that's got to be hurtful for him not to say he's in a relationship. And it's very easy. I mean, Jabari sat there at the reunion and said, I'm in a relationship. He didn't expound. He didn't elaborate. He just said, yes, I'm in a relationship. He could have done the same thing.
Mm-hmm. He could have. I mean, we would already have been established. It was already, you know, and after the show, he was still at his friend's house. I was waiting for him to give me a call.
So that was not his house that he was doing videos from. I mean, the live from.
Mm-mm.
And that was the same house that he was at the first time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So I waited for him to call, and he finally called, and I asked, I said, you know, that she had asked you, I said, now, you didn't have to say my name. I get it. If you don't want to say my name, I understand that, you know, some people don't like to put things out. Because like somebody had said earlier, I don't know which one it was you, Christal or Moe, that, you know, once you start making things official and it's out there, you know, not everybody's happy for you. Some people want to try to ruin things. I get it, you know, and if that's what it is. But I said, but, you know, they gave you the opportunity. You didn't have to say. So what was the reason of why you couldn't have said, you know, yes, I'm in a relationship, you know, it's kind of new. We're still trying to see where this is going. Right? Very simple, very vague. You didn't have to say nothing. We were following and friends on Facebook, but we didn't post that. Like there's no way you would have even attached us. And he's like, well, that's not for that's nobody's business. It's nobody's business. I don't need to put it out there. You know, I've already discussed this with you. You know how people are, and you know. And I said, but you didn't have to say my name. That was the one thing that's one thing you didn't have to do, is say my name.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, like when he's stuck on something and it's there, he's not going to let it go. It's not, there was no way for me. And I don't argue. I'm not an arguer. I'm not going to get in your face. I'm very calm. I'm going to talk to you. Now, if you start getting, you know, I might match my energy with you. And that's the one thing I try to do, is try to eliminate that. I'm too old for this. So I let it go.
So what were you thinking? Was that for you because I mean, obviously I was thinking when we text last night, I was like, well, they're probably going to get back. They're probably going to be fine, because he's probably going to explain himself. Was that a turning point for you, or do you feel like there's still hope for you guys to figure things out?
Well, I think after he finds out I'm on here, no, definitely. But that's on his side. I'm done.
Were you done? I did not want to be the cause of that, but how did you feel about it? Like,
I was already in that space of that confusion of what do I do? I feel like this, not saying it's not going to go anywhere, but things were just not fair. I didn't find things to be fair whatsoever. Like I did so much to get it. There's another thing that came up that I don't really, I guess I want to get on this, because it really, I tell you when it really kind of hit me, and it was Christmas Day. It was the gift that I gave him.
I saw that was a very nice gift.
Very nice gift. Very expensive gift. And he asked me the next day if he could take it back and get the money for it.
Oh.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, do you think
that's where it hit me? I was like, you know, I felt a little.
You just hit me with that.
But okay, did he get you a gift? He did. I'll tell you what, about maybe 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks before Christmas, he did get me. He got me something, but we kind of got into a little disagreement about something, and finally calmed down. He finally got to see my side of what that was. And he comes back in and he hands me, and I'm going to give it back to him. I have it on my neck right now, but he gave me a necklace, and it's a little heart with diamonds, and it's got a little paw print in it for Ranger. It's supposed to be like Ranger's little paw print.
See, because I said to you, I gave him an opportunity I said, Ranger needs a mom. And he started laughing, but that would have literally been the perfect time for him to say that he was dating somebody. And he didn't have to say that it was, you guys were getting married, but he could have said something. That this was too perfect of an opportunity for him not to say anything.
Yeah. So he gave that to me. He's like, I was going to wait for Christmas. And I gave it back. I'm like, well, just wait for Christmas. And he's like, no. I said, no, I ended up taking it. So that's what I got for Christmas. Yes.
That's really sweet, though.
It is.
Yeah. So I got Ranger his basketball. He's a huge, dogs, a German Shepherd. They love balls. So I got him his basketball. I filled both their stockings up completely to the top. Like that's just who I am, and I really cared for him a lot.
Well, is the only issue that you guys had him being honest? Well, obviously it's not, because there's some other stuff that you can't go into, but
right.
And that could be a time thing. I want to ask you this, Kelly, because, we talk a lot on this channel about women of color. I have a book called Dear Alpha Female. And I think that a lot of times women that are professional women, and you share with me that your career is in a great space, that sometimes it's difficult when men are not at the same level as you are, right? Do you think that you learned anything from this relationship about maybe making sure that because I hate to tell women that they should date men at their level, but I think sometimes it is that way.
Okay, so yes and no. Here's my thing. I think that if you're not in my tax bracket, that's fine. I have no issue with that. If you are doing what you're supposed to be doing, and you're established, and we can build, we can grow together, I have no problem with that. And it's not like he didn't. I'm sure he made less. I'm sure he did. But the fact that there's things I can't go into because I won't is what put him in a situation. And so I told you that, and I told you through the message, and with all of that, I was still there. Like, I'm still willing to be there. I'm still willing to. I would rock by you all the way to the end.
Yeah, you would.
Don't play me, though. Once you play me and you make me feel like I'm not important.
Damn it, man.
But that's also goes back to the respect. That goes back to the respect, I think. And I feel like I had never talked to you until yesterday, but I was like, girl, if you're one of my girlfriends, I'll be like, you deserve better than that. And that also is a situation where the person has to get themselves out of that. Like, you can't help somebody through their issues like that. I think that unfortunately life is about choices, and the choices that we make come back and we have to deal with that. So I feel like what he's dealing with, he has to deal with on his own, and you deserve better and you should move forward. I do think it's an issue. And I just want to ask you, and this is a safe space, I am not judging your answer, but I wonder, like, because I have dated a person that was outside of my race before, right? A couple of times. And I did date a guy that was white that said he did not like dating white girls. And I was just like, that's weird to me for him to prefer his preference to not be anyone that looks like his mom. What was your thought when he told you that his preference was not Black women, but yet he's on a Black show amongst Black women? Like, was that a red flag for you?
I didn't ask it in the beginning just because people have preferences, and I in the beginning I didn't go through that. It wasn't until when you're with somebody and time goes by, things start slipping up. People start saying things, and I think he had some bad interactions, and it was only with Black women, and so he just kind of put all Black women in this one big pot. And I don't think that's fair, because that's like, you know, I've discussed with him my bad relationships. I've been married to white men. I've dated black men. Whatever I had going on back then, I'm not bringing it to the new. I'm not going to put all of you in the same pot. He did, and I had remember telling him in the very beginning, you know, that because we asked, I've asked him, have you dated white women? I would like to know. He's like, yeah. I'm like, okay. And he asked me, and I remember telling him yes, because I remember on our very first date, we were driving and he still had his wave cap on, and we went driving, and he looked at me and he's like, I'm going to take this off. You know, this is this. I'm like, I said, look, I said, I know exactly what that is. I've dated black men. My oldest daughter is biracial, da, da, da. And I remember after that, was like maybe a couple months after that, we were texting, and I don't remember what it was all about, but he had said something. I'm like, you do know or remember that like my oldest daughter's biracial? And he's like, no. He said, I thought I was going to be your first black man. And I was like, and I told my friend Monica, and I know you on here watching it. And I told my friend Monica, and I said, that felt like at that moment, I was like, is that like a notch on your belt or something? Because you way on the bottom now, buddy.
That feels weird.
It feels weird. So he just, I think he just had some bad, you know, relationships with him, and it just kind of left a bad taste in his mouth. I think that's all I can really get into. Because like I said, his two older daughters' moms are black, so he does believe, you know, in love in general.
But I mean, that could be, Jack also could just be his game. That could be what he told you. And that may not, because like some guys may tell me I like, you know, short, thick girls, and then they probably like other stuff. So maybe that's just what maybe that's just his game. Oh, what do you think? Because
honestly, I think he likes it all. He's not one of those guys that be tripping over that. And if he did have bad experiences, black women, I mean, at this point, you know, is this his first relationship? It wasn't his first relationship with someone outside his race, right?
No.
Right. So a lot of guys, that's just what they do. Now he might be like, I'm never going back due to some other stuff. But I think he just dates women that he likes.
You think he just tells people what he thinks they want to hear?
Oh, he does that anyway. That's regardless. That's regardless.
Mo, what is your honest, unfiltered opinion? What advice do you have for our good friend Kelly here, from a man's perspective?
I'm gonna be honest. I thought y'all were gonna work it out, so I'm a little thrown off. I thought y'all cleared it up, and he's gonna run smooth game. So I gotta give it to you, Kelly. I gotta give it to you. You stood your ground. I didn't know. I thought y'all were gonna be, you know, both watching this stuff together, cussing me out because I was getting on them. But you shocked me, Kelly. You shocked me.
Don't judge a book, because I'm not the one. I am not the one. I'm too old for this shit. I'm not the one.
I see you don't play that, but just for him in general, man, I
think he doesn't know how to be in a relationship. I think he has absolutely no idea. If he's only had two, and let me tell you something, when that podcast came on and he said he had only been in two long-term 4-year, that's my first time finding out. So I'm sitting at home like, oh, what? And
he did say that. Yeah,
he did say that. So that kind of, you know, and I'm just like, now I'm at the end here, and I'm like, he doesn't know how to do this.
Or he doesn't. I'm gonna tell you, this is my opinion, and Mo knows I say this all the time. A man is only going to give you his best when he's in a good position. And when he's in a position where he's trying to figure it out, women around him will end up being collateral damage. And I feel like it doesn't have anything to do. Somebody said earlier that, Lena says he's on survival mode. He's only thinking about self. When a person is in that type of situation at that age, and, you know, I'm definitely, you know, in my mid 40s, Mo is 50s. Like, so, you know, at this point, if you made some mistakes, you are grasping at straws, because it's getting to a point where nobody wants to deal with that. He also mentioned to us that he liked dating younger women, right? And because I think that
he did.
He did. Like, and you're obviously a lot younger than him, because I just feel like a woman that's his age is going to be like, what have you been doing with the last
Let's just say that I didn't know whatever I had messaged you. I didn't know a lot of that. A lot of it's public knowledge. That's how I was able to find some things. I am former law enforcement officer. I was able to look into some things.
Oh,
there you go, right there. There you go, jackpot.
So I was able to find some things, and that's how I was able. And then, I still gave the benefit of the doubt. I still was like, look, this is what I know. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, well, you got to check up on me. Well, then this same time and age, I might have to check up on somebody because you weren't willing to give me that information.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. But let me ask you this. People are asking, did he pay for dates? Was he well, you were driving there. Was he taking you out? Was he?
We did a few things here and there. There's this restaurant called Moro's. I love Moro. It's really good. It's really high end by where he lives at. We've done that once. Majority of the stuff we may have went to Frenchman Street, went to a couple bars, maybe had to pay a drink here and there. Usually he knows people that at the bars and we get our drinks for free. But not really. Not really. And I think it's because, like I said, I'm a very simple person. You can take me to the park. We can stroll the quarters. We can do this. We can do that. I'm good. I'm not materialistic. I don't need the money. I can, it is what it is. But then when he starts mentioning, women nowadays, he's talking about, generation women. And I'm like, well, I'm not from this generation, but okay, what do you got to say? Well, people nowadays, women don't want to like get in their purse. And I said, have you never had anybody like do anything for you? It's like, yeah. And then when I start thinking about it, it's like, oh, because you couldn't do it.
Yeah, that's always a telltale sign. And that's also why I just feel like women, the only guys that complain about money are usually the ones that don't have it. And in a situation like that, like especially if they're talking a lot about it, the negativity. I also learned something from Mo, because Mo and I have been friends for over 20 something years. So I remember when I was dating online, and I used to get irritated with guys saying that, oh, let me see what you look like first in person. We'll go have a coffee or something before. So I'll be like, I'll just buy my own meal. And Mo and my other guy friend were like, do not do that. Do not do that. Because first of all, if he's the right guy, he's not going to want you to pay for your own date anyway, and that's insulting to him. And so I learned, because I would go on a date and be like, I'll pay for my own meal, and they got in my behind and were like, do not ever do that. You let him show you what he's going to do. And when the right one came, and I'm dating in Atlanta, it's ridiculous. So some guys were, oh, I know you're used to, because you're around celebrities, you're used to this, you're used to that. When the right one came, that was never an issue. So no disrespect to Mizell, because I think he's probably a very good person at heart. He just is on his player vibes because that's the situation that he's in. And to open up and be like, this is what I'm really dealing with, this is where I'm at, would take a lot of courage. And maybe he doesn't have that, or maybe he can't recognize a good person. So I was like you, saying, I don't mind, I'll go to the park. I stopped doing that because my guy friends told me to stop. They were like, no, make him take you out, make him get in his pocket. If he really wants you, you'll see what he wants. If he don't, keep it moving.
Right.
There it is. Because when it's the right woman, you're not even thinking about no money. The wrong woman, you'd be like, I could have put this to the right one. But I will say, a lot of times when men are not in the position that they want to be, and me and Christal had this conversation. Not talking, you look, because a lot of times those are the things that make you feel like a man, that you can do certain things and move in a certain way. And when you don't have that, you start to put your manhood in different things. When I was messing out here, I had a bunch of women.
He did. He really did. It was too many women. They was out of control.
And the thing was, I'm just being transparent, is because being with and sleeping with a lot of women was the only thing that made me feel like a man. And that sounds crazy, but it's true. And I put my man, and it's sad to even, that's the only thing you have to offer as a man. But then when I started to get back up, got my stuff together, and it started to be different. And I had less women. Number one, I had less time, and I didn't have to seek manhood in multiple women, So it's a testament. And I would tell anybody, when you get a guy, let us get himself together and figure it out.
Right.
Anybody, and there's no disrespect to him, he should want to do that.
Yeah.
he should want to.
Especially at that point in life. So I, you know, Kelly, you are from what you shared with me, you are a great woman who is willing to look past material things to really want a real connection with somebody. And I think you can have that, but I think you got to let the next person that comes into your life, he has to step up and show you first, and then he can reap the benefits of you being not materialistic. I'm not materialistic, but trust me, my husband spoils the crap out of me. But he also appreciates the fact that I'm like, you know what? You don't have to, I don't need that. But I do appreciate the fact that he makes me feel that way. And I feel like all women deserve that. In the same token, men deserve a woman that has their back regardless. So, you know, he's just not ready for you right now. He could be ready later, but you know, hopefully he won't take this and become angry and bitter, but he will realize that, you know, he probably fumbled a really good bag by not just saying, this is I met an amazing woman after this show. And, you know, I'm happy right now.
Right. Absolutely. You gave the opportunity.
Yeah, we did. Well, I mean, we have done it tonight. We have been on here longer. We've went out with a bang. I want to thank you, Kelly, for coming on. Yeah. What'd you say, Mo?
For telling her story.
Yeah, and I also, it helped me to realize that it's not just women of color that deal with the alpha female or the professional woman, and sometimes feeling like there's not a reciprocal out there. We're not the only ones that are you know, worked and are often, you know, have our stuff together as far as business. It's often just women, period, because women are, especially when women have kids, we just be on our stuff. So I love the fact that you actually like showed that to me. Like, we all are out here as women dealing with some of the same issues.
We are all of us are, you know, whether it's the men or the women, we're all dealing with the same stuff. It definitely has nothing to do with color whatsoever.
Yeah,
we're all dealing with it, and I don't see color whatsoever. If you're a good human being, that's who I'm attracted to.
Yeah, and I think that's when it comes to love, if you can find love, as precious as it is, it doesn't matter where you find that love at. My problem with Mizell is if you're coming on a show and you know that's not your preference, that's a problem, right? Because it's not gonna, it's already starting out from a negative perspective. So that's the problem. It's like, don't come on a show. We're fine if you have a preference, but go that way.
Right.
Go that way. All right. Well, I think we have done it for a Thursday night.
There you go.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you for coming on, Kelly. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye.
Much love and success and love.
And there you have it.
I like that. Lene says, hold on, Lene. There we go. Here we go. I like that. Great job, Kelly. You're brave for doing this. 2024 is the year of truth.
There you go.
Best of luck on your next chapter. I love that. That's a great to take us out. I think that was the best way to end this on. It's not about color, Katie. I'm saying I don't care if he does have something.
This wasn't about.
Yeah, you know, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that you should be honest, right? And I think that for her, she was hurt, as I would have been. You know, every woman has done it. Every man, everybody. What did you always tell me? Like, everybody had gotten played.
Yeah.
You just can't just don't play yourself. You got a whole bunch of one-liners.
Hey, you're not in control of that a lot of times. But once you know, that's when you start playing yourself. Once you know, you got to figure out how to move.
Yeah. Yeah. And you did see who Mizell was from day one. He said he had to come on here and he had to talk to you. And
if you don't get your goofy ass
okay, well,
I saw you from the beginning. I know you. I don't know you, but I know you.
Mawadi says she's gonna go back to him. If she does, I hope they can, you know, I hope
they work it out.
Yeah, I do. Cat Williams did say 2024 is the year of exposure, and we had to do it here. We had to do it here because we had to share the fact that
we did it because we wanted to do it, damn it. You saw that lady was hurting yesterday.
I did see she was hurt. I called Mo. I said, look, this lady is hurt. Like, I feel bad for her. Like,
go to morning, work in the morning, early 4:30 in the morning, and I sat up to talk. Y'all gonna get this show. I don't care what.
I think this is starting a new level of truth telling here. So I'm telling you, we're gonna be back tomorrow. We start the new show tomorrow. Relationship recap with Ready to Love. Now, what we're gonna do tomorrow, we're gonna give you guys our truth about these singles. And then we're going to get into the show. So this is a whole different Christal from Christal with Love. We're talking about truth. We're talking about truth now.
There you go.
We're pulling no punches. It's just straight no chaser. DeQueezy said, I love Mo. Thank you for a good show. There will be, I don't know if there's going to be any new ones in Kelly's DM. But
forgive me for saying this, but if I went that way, I might, I like black women, but I'm just saying, if I did like them other people, I would have went there.
You would have went to Kelly's DM? Okay.
I'm not a DM guy. I don't slide in people's DMs, but I'm saying, I don't know. That's not my thing, my cup of tea. I like black women, but if I did,
yeah, well,
really, really cool. And
yeah, she did seem really cool. And I believe everything that she said, because like I said, she could have really put him out there.
Yeah, because stuff we left out, so I ain't gonna hold.
And we didn't want to do that either. I was like, we cannot. Thank you, Miss View. Miss View sent us a super chat. That is so appreciated. We appreciate that very much. We cannot wait. Mo, I think tonight kind of kicked off the new vibe, right?
That was the whole point. That was the whole point. We don't come on Thursdays, y'all, but we did it and we got it over it. We're on to the next thing. We're on to the next level. We welcome you guys with us. Thank you. We're going to all do this together.
We're going to do it together. We're going to see y'all tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Be easy, but don't come on here unless you're willing to be honest. That's the
there you go. That's the motto right now.
That's the new motto. Don't come here with the BS. Come here with the real. And we have love for you. But if not, if you come here with the BS, you will be
exposed. We ain't gonna expose you, but if somebody calls us the devil, then it might go down that way. I'm just saying.
All right, y'all have a good one. Get some rest. We will see you back here at 10 o'clock, ready for Friday night relationship recap, Ready to Love. We'll see you guys then.
You go.